Holy settings. All right, here we go. Did you already do the demo too?
I already did the tutorial,
Yeah, I got tutorial all the way.
It is a historic day
All right, well,
across the solar
let me
system.
lock in here.
The enormous UESC Marathon colony ship.
Sets out for the Tau Ceti star
I'm
system.
in.
To establish a new home for humanity.
Searching feather. Yo, what even is this game about, bruh?
I don't really know.
Is it like being
I
a
don't know.
robot? Like, I think you get like downloaded into a system.
I think it's like people get put into shells and they just kind of don't die. They just keep doing the same like scavenging missions over and over again, just in different shells. That's all I kind of picked up from the trailer. I ain't gonna lie.
Okay. My screen is black. Hello? Chat? Was y'all screen black for a long time?
It was for like a little bit.
Your music is playing, but nothing's happening on my screen. Chat, I break the game.
How do you achieve this?
There it goes. Your gear is at risk. You will lose all equipment gear if you exit or disconnect. Okay. So this is... It looks like I'm like on a computer. What the fuck? Okay, now I'm in the game.
Your neural interface is malfunctioning.
I'm running.
Your
Access
reception
denied.
matrix has been damaged. Your shell too. Search the area for repair supplies, while I'll find a way to access the colony systems.
Okay. Colony systems. Repair supplies.
Engage your heal systems to use an item to repair your health or shields, depending on which is lower. Your health and shields restore separately. Be sure to recover both.
Okay. Okay.
Authorization terminal active. Use it to interface with the colony systems.
Okay. Colony systems. You have to like hold down things to do things in this game.
System access granted. Welcome to New Cascadia.
We're going to die here. What the hell? Oh, there's a lot of people coming.
I recommend you not follow those orders. Stay calm. Your
What do I do?
required systems access will allow you to navigate the colony. Search the structure for a way out.
Okay. Searching for a way out.
Look for a drain or vent cover and try to break it with your knife.
I'm getting hella items. Oh, that's kind of cool. Where the hell am I?
Keep low, keep quiet. By syncing your systems with the colonies, we've secured you permanent access to all of New Cascadia. Know when to pick a fight and when to make an exit. All that matters now is staying alive.
Staying alive, staying alive. Huh, 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 huh. Staying alive.
The UESC believes Tau Ceti and everything on it belongs
Move it,
to
move it, move it, move it, move
If
it.
you want to survive, you'll need a weapon.
This game looks kind of like cool. A lot of detail here. Okay. Kengi, off of your impressions, do you think you'll like this more or less than Arc Raiders?
I don't know yet.
Another runner. Check the remains for weapons and supplies.
Okay.
They don't
It's
need
definitely
money.
got a unique style to it. I don't know if it beats Arc Raiders compared to like actual gameplay yet though.
Okay. Okay. Where your frames at? Are my frames dying, chat? I feel like I'm having hella frames right now. Oh, that's a secondary gun. I'm picking up mad stuff, bruh. Holy inventory filling. Do I need all of this, bro? What? I don't got room for anything else. And I got a shield. Okay. Oh, you mean how many frames do I have? It's capped at 200. And on what res do you play? 1920 by 1080? My backpack's full. Is that an enemy? Shit your happy ass down.
I've located an active exfiltration point near your location. Marking it on your map. Exfil points are the only way to safely move solid matter off-world. That includes you. Scavenge the area for additional assets if you need them. But be careful. Die here, and you'll lose everything.
Die here and you lose everything. Magnum MC. Fire rate power. This is more firepower, more accuracy. I'm gonna throw you away, okay? Let me drop you. Drop. Boom. Do you keep all the stuff that you have in this tutorial?
Yeah, if you can make it out in time. Or like make it out alive.
I don't know what's
It still,
important.
I will say I died in the tutorial. It still gave me the stuff from the tutorial. It's not that bad for me.
Oh.
So
Initial deployment. Proceed to exfil site. Where the fuck is that? Where my map at? Is it this way? It is this way. Shuttles lock in. Gameplay show FPS. Access denied. I don't know how to do that. I'm just trying to play with my friends real quick. Trying to get out of this so I can go play with them already. Cause they waiting. We can figure that out in a bit. Map? Yeah, I'm like right here. Where's my extraction? Am I not here? No, I'm not. What the fuck? Okay. Let's go back up and outside this way. So extraction's outside after you kill that dude and where?
I don't know, man. Your map looks a lot different than mine. I think the tutorial maps in different spots for different people.
Can I mark it, bruh? Big! Very good, very good.
Your prime ability is charged. Use it during combat to unleash your power on your enemies.
Oh, snap!
Destination.
My shield is gone!
All UESC forces converge.
I could use my primary ability. I need to heal my HP!
Your tactical ability is ready. Use it to deploy a personal shield.
What did that do? What did that do?
I didn't even go to like do anything. I just instantly.
Did it activate? Am I good? Go, 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 go. 7, 6. I made it out! Woo! Easy clap. You know what I'm saying? Better than Bemin here. I don't know.
All right, buddy. All right, buddy.
Yeah, that was hella close. I didn't know what I was doing, bro. I kind of don't like that I have to hold the key for things to happen. It's like, if I press it, just like, let it happen. I had to hold space to continue. Dang, I gotta look cool. Exfiltrated. Nice. And runtime, 8 minutes. Come on, man. Ain't nobody doing it like me. Okay. Hella things here. Hella things. Okay, return to lobby. Welcome. I'm not reading that. Okay, let's go. Invite me. Bama, have you added?
No, you don't. There's the Bungie ad system in it. Same name.
Oh, wait.
On Discord.
What's your name? I might be an idiot. Bemin?
There's the little person with a plus.
Oh, there it is.
What's the numbers?
Wait, there's numbers?
Yeah,
Oh
you
shit,
need
there is
numbers
numbers.
for Bungie.
8464.
Come on now. Okay. Maybe I did do it right.
Bam.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come on now. Wait, I muted you.
What
Is it only
shall
number
everybody
3?
play?
Yeah, no, it's just 3.
Damn.
Typical extraction shooters, you know how it is.
Add connection. Hey. Is it? Yeah. F. Okay. So, from y'all's knowledge, what should we be doing here? Do we just drop right in, or
I
like?
don't got any idea what we're doing.
I mean, I would read up on the shell abilities real quick. See what you want to play as.
Where even is that?
Press S.
I pressed X. I'm an idiot. Okay, we have destroyer, search and destroy, riot barricade, thruster. Sounds a little like me. I'm joking. Next.
Cal said he's calm.
Amplify, prime ability, disrupt cannon, tactical ability, microjet, power slide.
Land enough shots, anyone will drop.
We are the danger.
Echo post.
I won't
tracker
lie.
code.
I'm playing
The
in
past is a
triage,
shadow.
So,
The future
You
of
playing as
blind-
triage?
I swapped over to recon.
yeah.
There's nowhere
You're
to
playing recon.
Don't fear the unknown.
Smoke screen, tactical abilities, active camo. I might play assassin then.
Feedback loop cycling. Fix-a-kit ready.
New memories
I would look
are all I
around.
have.
We're gonna be using free kits, so I would keep
Yeah.
looking around and making sure you're all set before we go.
Okay. Now what is essential? Let's see here. We got those bullets. You got these bullets. Advanced patch kit restores a large amount of health. Okay. What is this?
Well, don't worry about your loadout right now.
Oh.
Because you still gotta. I feel like you still have tutorial prompts you gotta look through.
Oh.
'Cause do you still have like those blue text boxes telling you?
I
where to go,
do.
where to
But
click?
I don't want to keep
Yeah.
y'all waiting, so I was just trying to like.
I mean, just look through those real quick because we're gonna be in with free loadouts. So that, I mean, it kind of
Yeah.
takes you to a free loadout. So
Okay. Oh. Faction screen. There we go. Upgrades available. Like so like robotic. Very futuristic stuff here. Definitely a different vibe from most games that I've ever played.
It's kind of sick. I was
Yeah.
gonna say, I like the vibe a lot.
Getting a little bit of like, what is it? The Division, a little bit, kinda.
A little. I can see it. I can see it.
Yeah, shut your beanhead ass up. ID, bro, you are short. You can't speak to me. Rest, that's not funny.
Oh,
Welcome home, runner.
Hello, Oni.
I'm Oni, your onboard navigational intelligence.
Okay.
Your consciousness and my neural programming are inexorably interlinked. Think of me as a friend. One you don't yet remember,
Do you have abs? Yes, I have abs. So, who's really fitter?
You may still be experiencing some memory degradation from the damage.
Degradation, that's a good word.
But worry not. Cyber Acme is here for you. I'm here for you.
She's here for me, chat. She wants
Per
me.
our arrangement, you've come to Tau Ceti to scavenge the ruins of a long-lost human colony. Now that we've successfully calibrated you to new Cascadia systems,
Oh my god,
our next
I have
step
to
is
change
connecting
my
with
crypto.
factions who will
Like,
pay for your
forgetting.
services. The Unified Earth Space Council is equipped with
playing
advanced,
Deadlock too.
faster-than-light communications technology.
Oh, bro, this is just the new
Restart
update.
the alright, ID. Yeah, it's a new deadlock
And
update.
I should be able to reverse
Yeah, the Deadlock
engineer
update.
direct
They went back to
contact
Neon
with
Prime.
faction representatives back home on Earth and Mars.
Earth and Mars. Contracts. Complete contracts to earn rewards. Faction rewards. You must activate contracts to earn progress. Activate priority contract. What is the contract? Defeat commanders. Identifiable by their white frames. Expect improved variants of an elite. Okay. Hover over contracts objectives either here or during a run for more detailed information. Okay. Bet. Active. It's active. And then we can activate this one as well.
Bam.
Boom. The details button provides detailed information about the screen. Okay. Where's the details button? I'm back, ho. I'm not no ho. Ho. Did you just restart your PC because Twitch tweaked? Yeah. There's no way. Okay, well, I'm done with these contracts. I got the contracts on. Now let me go. Wait, I have an upgrade available. Is it this thing? Rank 1 upgrades. Holy clutter. There's shit everywhere. In the upgrades interface, you can unlock different improvements and enhance your preferable playstyle. Each faction has its own unique series of upgrades to explore and unlock. Okay. Gain additional rows of value. What the fuck am I looking at, chat? That was locked. Loot speed, fall resistance. Ooh, I think I want loot speed. Purchase. Hey! That's crazy upgrades. That's what I'm saying, bro. This game might be the truth. Upgrade of it. Did I not just upgrade? Am I tripping, chat? How many more upgrades I got? Alright. Let's just upgrade everything. Fuck it. I bet. Okay, now we're done with that. Okay, looked at the faction. Now we're looking at the loadouts. Your vault provides long-term storage for your items. Select vault. Wait, actually. Items stored in your vault are not lost if you're eliminated during a run. Vault battle, okay. Visit the armory to spend credits on weapons and other items. Armory. Shit, what's this game about? It's like an extraction shooter, first person, more like Escape from Tarkov, kind of like Arc Raiders. Feels like The Division a little bit to me, for whatever reason, I don't know. Different factions offer specialized items, unlock higher quality items through faction upgrade. Purchase ammo and healing items. Free!
Free kit.
Free kit.
Get back. Purchase ammo. Where the hell's my money at? I don't even know where my money's at. Oh, it's up here.
It's in the top right, yeah.
Okay. Okay, I got the sponsor kit equipped to dismiss. The detail button provides detailed information about this screen. Click the detail. Wait, button. Where's the detail? Yo, I wish they like showed me. Just like click on it for me, bro. This it. That might be it. All right, customize. Melee.
Ugh. Customizing for skins. You don't have to do that.
Okay. All right. I think I'm prepared.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Come on now. There's no way we lose. Yeah, whatever, dude. Me and Kenki, we lock in on Arc Raiders.
I will not lie.
Something like that. Something like that.
The movement and the mouse movement did feel a little weird.
Weird?
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the movement. It feels kind of blocky.
Huh. Hey, Big A, how long have you been playing Marathon? Approximately like 10 minutes. Maybe.
Nah, bro, you took forever on that tutorial. You can't even say 10
Okay, the tutorial was 8 minutes actually, but I've been on the game for probably like 15 minutes to 20 minutes.
Add an extra 0.
Oh, run.
At 80.
All right, let's see how this goes.
This game is trippy as hell.
Yeah, like what did they show it? Was this some Blibbidum
Watching a
messaging or
moth
something?
just eat something. I'm a big fan. It's kind of cool.
Also, Chad, is my camera in a good position? Should I put it somewhere else? Can't tell. Do not overheat or you dead?
That's good to know. How do I prevent from overheating?
Is that from running?
What? Running, double jumping, sliding.
I'll just die?
Oh, wow, just live.
You won't die. You won't die. But
I'll go
it'll
down.
make it so you can't really do movement. And if you don't have access to movement, you're kind of getting shot.
For how long? Yeah, you got a big ass head.
Warning. Localized
But you see that bar
risk assessment
at the bottom,
advised.
like that heat bar.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it. I see
So
it.
if that heats up, you have to wait until that fully goes away to start moving again.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
You said what, Big A? I said this game is kind of like Arc Raiders and Escape from Tarkov. It's an extraction shooter. It's called Marathon. No fucking epilepsy warning. Wait, I don't even. What's in this room? Oh, all right. Don't overheat. Don't overheat. You don't close the door on me. Don't close the door on me.
I am. Folio. Stable gun middle.
Ooh, that sounds important.
I don't know if it is.
Depleted. What was that? Depleted shield charge. We're making money moves.
Stop for you.
Oh! What?
Okay.
There's a claymore.
Bro, you lost your shield. What a goober.
Imagine.
There's a tunnel
See,
down
as
here.
a pro player that didn't die in the tutorial.
Oh! Ow! What the fuck?
Plans.
Yo.
Plans.
Did somebody just throw something at me?
Was it the bots?
Guys, how do I stop taking toxic damage? It
Taking
won't stop.
toxic damage.
Yeah, there's a plant. Be careful.
That's a wonderful question that I do not have the answer to.
Oh, okay, this just blows up. All right.
Now that was karma, bruh.
Oh, gee.
I wonder if you run faster with your knife. How do you switch your knife? Am I tripping?
3.
Mouse wheel. This is mouse wheel.
Wait, I want to see what happens if I overheat. Chat, you think I'm gonna die?
Guys, it's a robot. So we'll shoot it.
Oh yeah. Good work, team. Y'all followed my lead and executed perfectly.
Yeah, something like that.
Well, you're not gonna loot the bodies.
Really?
How many people we shooting, bro?
I don't think he's done. I think Big A is lying.
Lying about what? Ah, oh, just got sniped! Headshot, baby. Fuck with me. I reloaded like this.
Oh my god!
Did you go down? Nah. You're supposed to be the in-game leader, bro. What you doing, bro?
I'm carrying, bro. I carry from the floor. I'm the shot caller.
This
We're
guy.
jumping
Shot
into these
from, bro.
snipers.
There's some straight above. It was a
There's
sniper.
snipers across the area right now.
What's up, Lash? Potatoes rude as fuck. What did Potato do? Should have thought. Nah, we're cyborging it, bruh. That gotta look like a doofus. I don't look like a doofus, bruh.
Dude, what the fuck am I grabbing?
Telling me to KMS? Wow, why did he tell you that, bruh? You heard of EDL? No, I don't know what that is.
Sniper bots. The knife is actually pretty decent.
At killing? Ooh. I'm in a tunnel. I don't know if I should be here by myself though. Now I'm a regroup. Because I did a new build on 7 and we lost lane. But it's all right. Dang.
Okay, I got the last.
What a goober, bro. That is unacceptable, bro. We don't talk to people like that, bro.
That dude's got a no shield.
Watch this.
You just friendly fire.
Go ahead and shoot me in the head.
Yeah, give it a shot by shooting Big A's big head.
Yep.
Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't seem like it.
I'm hurting. You should low-key sign up and hit some clips. Sign up and hit some... Huh? Sign up for what? Wait. Oh, EDL? It's a deadlock comp thing you can sign up for right now. Shit. You're gonna have to send me that in the Discord. I can look at that later. Right now, I'm trying to marathon it. I'm running a marathon.
I got a bunch of them, but none of them work for the weapon I got.
No, what's this?
The window will remain stable for 20 minutes.
Recall window. I'm just making sure we're good. You know, don't want Kenki dying on me. Wait, y'all wanna go west? Where are we trying to go here? Wait, what the hell is that thing? You hit the recall? What's that?
Take a look.
Take a look. Wait, am I invisible? Am I invisible?
You are.
Come on, fuck with me.
Semi-visible, but it's pretty generous.
Wait, fuck. What's this do again?
Oh, there's a lot of people over there.
There's so many robots on that bridge.
Yeah, maybe we don't fight them. Let's go around his left side here.
Lockbox key, lockbox key, lockbox key. And these only keys.
Big A trying to look at some Spidey clips after this. I got them from a little tourney I joined. I won, by the way. Sure. Genetic records. What's the importance of that? When down, you gain the signal jammer effect until revived or eliminate scramble. Oh, I scrambled my appearance. That's pretty cool. Oh, that's like a core item. Like you just on you. That's cool. One out I saw. Oh my gosh.
What's this?
I saw that he was on your friends list, put me in a bum mood while you're on his. Hey man, listen, bro. I'll talk to him about it. That's not good stuff. You don't talk to people like that, bro. Hey man, don't let other people get you in a bad mood, bro. You dictate how you feel. It's just edl.gg if you want to check it out. Yeah, remind me. I'm 150.
Oh shit.
W 150. Where you guys at? Where you guys at? Unstable lead. Oh, who are we shooting at?
Turret.
Okay, just make sure. W kills, man. You guys are really good at following my lead. We're doing a good job here. I was gonna pick that up.
All right, buddy.
I was gonna pick that up, right?
Well, you didn't use any ammo, so.
No, I did though. I had to reload.
I have like no ammo.
Here, take one of these. Oh, well, not all three.
Wait, actually, I think I can
Ooh, a plant.
Placing ammo crate.
ammo box.
That's how that works.
Is that another turret? Ooh.
Oh lord. You might want to take a little cover. Just a little cover.
Are you sure we want to just waste all of our ammo? Should we like go around?
I mean, maybe go around.
Yeah, I think going around might be better.
I don't know, man.
Pick that up. We gotta conserve. Gotta conserve what we got.
This thing is a contract objective.
That's a big building right there.
That's a big building.
Okay. What the hell is a fractal circuit? Don't worry, I'll get him. What is that? What did you do? What?
Playing all the targets.
Oh! There's an enemy in that room. What is that? What the hell is that? What is that?
Oh.
The thing's following you.
Go find the spider. Little spider guy.
Oh, my gun is terrible. Ooh, a new gun. Don't mind if I steal all the loot from you guys. Unstable diode. Doing very good here. Good teamwork. You guys are just search bio. What is this? I don't know what I'm picking up, but as long as I get, I'm chilling.
Oh, that's not what I meant to do.
No, what the hell is that? Yo,
Oh, guy.
yo, get this little guy off of me.
If you have a little med drone attached to you, if you have a med drone attached to you, by the way, any healing that you do is transferred to me as well, and any healing I do is transferred to you.
Okay, just make sure to not heal at all, chat. Remind me. I just steal all of his healing and I don't heal him. That's what we're trying to do here. I'm back. Oh, is this marathon? Yes, this is marathon. The tourney was a mix of ranked and 1v1. Which is weird, but hey, I won. That's all that matters. W. Oh. I got impeccable aim, chat.
Ammo crate, please.
We're gonna have to release the robots kill this game.
Bro, I'm shooting mad robots. What you talking about, bro?
I haven't seen kill a single robot.
I'm the
I
shootiest.
don't think you got it in yet.
What was that? Oh, enemy combatant. Enemy combatant. That was all me, by the way. All me.
You got his first kill on him. I'm proud of my man.
Are you kidding me? I'm the killiest. Sliding in water generates no heat.
Oh shit.
I don't know, like half these
I don't
things.
know if I like care about that.
Come on.
Fractal circuit. Right, so I already have one of those. What does this do? Increase speed and storage. Do I use this? Huh?
Those shutters.
I don't know what that does, bro. I don't know what this is doing.
It's above me on the roof.
I don't know what to be looking for.
Gotta fix that.
Gosh, fucking damn.
Are you fighting?
Having these little ticks run up to you.
What the fuck? Yo, they're like lagging. Don't worry, I handle it. Don't worry, I'll be the one.
Yeah, you're the carry.
Tick embryo.
We have cache coordinates. Do we want to try doing that?
Yeah, let's fuck it. I guess.
There's an objective here I have to do, but I don't know.
Ew! Help me! Are you the? How'd y'all both get up there, bro?
What's this?
This might help.
Oh, you're just knifing them.
What the hell is that?
A little tick.
Tick, man.
A little tick.
I don't like it, bro. Get it the hell away from me.
I like getting on this fucking
Still.
thing.
Headshot. Boom, headshot.
UESC reinforcements incoming.
Reinforcements.
What does that mean?
I don't know. Oh. Looks like something's getting reinforced.
Oh shit.
I don't think I've been in this room yet.
Reinforcement is happening. Not a fan.
No, that's not the way to go.
Small amount of credits. Should I be using these things, bro?
Excellent.
Follow the echoes.
I don't know.
It's okay. We have no targets detected.
What's that bot top left? Kengi put it on me and I can heal him and he can heal me. You get like replicated. Think of like Ivy's tether. Yep, that's what this is. Instead of, it's not going off of bullet damage. It's just like any healing is replicated. Come on, you got the deadlock in this game.
FTL array at the UESC tower. Wait. Get an FTL array at any UESC radio tower and perimeter. What?
That's cool.
This one? How'd I get up? Oh, there's a ladder. That would probably help.
Who are we shooting?
Oh, there's a tick on the roof.
No.
There's a lot of robots. There's a lot of robots.
Don't worry, I'm coming. Oh! Headshot, baby. Fuck with me. Give me your gun. You didn't drop a single thing. You're dog shit, man. You're beneath the earth. You're beneath scum. You're worthless.
Throwing smoke.
I feel like I only have 8 bullets left. I don't know if I can continue to fight anything.
I have 14 bullets left.
I went to the knife. I don't want to waste any more ammo.
Okay, we're knifing.
Oh god, there's grenades.
Yeah, I feel like there's mad things around me. Die!
Don't worry, guys. I'm carrying. No, I'm carrying now.
You're carrying.
You see, this guy's about to jump you guys.
Run away! I must protect myself.
Oh shit, I'm out of ammo. Well, we did.
Restoring ammo.
We're not.
He's running up on my shit. Oh, fuck, there's another.
I killed him. Yo, can you give me some bullets, man?
I have no ammo.
Not a single
10
bullet.
minutes remain.
We should probably extract, I'm not gonna lie.
Doctor's orders.
Oh, Lord. He jumped my ass again.
You got down? Oh, my Atlanta. Why is this so hard?
What is he doing to me? He's sucking me, bro. What the fuck?
He's sucking you. Yo, whose idea was it to come over here and fight all these people? Quit sucking him, you weirdo! He was sucking the hell out of you, bro. He was draining your life essence.
I got a commander.
Yeah. Bounty hunter?
EMP grenades.
Oh, cool. This shows. Okay, we're leaving, right? We ain't got no bullets. Keggy? My trip.
I don't know what y'all talking about. I got a UAR.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
What about us, bro?
Guys, you drop some ammo. Maybe. I don't know. You guys not have
Light
ammo
rounds?
packs? You should have ammo packs. Use your ammo packs.
I don't think I have an ammo pack.
You should. You should have spawned in with one.
Oh, how do I use this?
Double click on it and then press G. Out of your inventory.
This is dude.
Ammo crate, double left clicking. Okay, I pushed F.
No, and then you back out and then you press G. G.
Zay with the follow. Welcome to the Akatsuki. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay, bet. Get to the cash in a second.
Yeah, 8 minutes left.
What the fuck is that?
Wait.
Much more.
As the second I figure out this ammo crate, I got you.
EMP active.
Oh, there's not enough space. No space. Oh. What do I drop, chat?
Killed it. Killed them.
How much space I need, bro?
There's one of those like jailer things in the sky. Should I shoot it?
You.
I shot it. Okay.
Warning, reinforcements detected.
Oh, there's heavy rounds over here.
I have a heavy weapon. Oh, big ol', we need to get out of there. There's only 3 ships coming out on that thing.
Okay, fuck yeah. Fuck getting this fucking ammo.
Okay.
That shit is not working. Yeah, wait, where you at? Where you at?
Remember this location.
I mean, I pinged it. Just go to the yellow arrow.
Okay, I'm going.
Oh shit! Somebody new.
Come in.
Runner in zone.
Yeah, enemy?
I think so.
I mean, like a real person? I got negative bullets because I can't work this. You have no backpack? Wait, do I have no backpack? Whoa.
I mean, it's a free kit.
Wait, and how are you able to use it? Am I tripping? Oh, I got a gun.
Wait, yo, Matt
Go
is
to the transfer. Go to the transfer. Go to the transfer.
I can't swap.
invisible for me. Oh.
Fuck it, let's get out of here. Yeah, fuck that item, I guess. We made it out, that's all that matters.
Wow, we did so good, guys.
I saw
So
one
hard.
person at the end.
Yeah, no, there was that one guy at the end.
Easy
He said he had a
clap.
free kit.
Easy.
Yeah, that's when I shot him.
We love bouncing on shit. Hey, that's I'm just thanking you, bro. That's all it is. Gotta show my thanks. I think the scariest part about that was just running out of ammo.
Yeah, no, low-key, the little enemies were kind of more dangerous.
Look at that, I'm the medic, bro. Mad healing, man. Fuck with me. Crew
That
revives?
was the carry. I got the carry.
Yeah,
That's what mine said.
whatever. What did Kengi do? Kind of nothing, right? He didn't get the most kills, not the most revives. Didn't even kill a runner. Like, what is he doing for real?
What?
Yeah, thank you, Loki. You're falling off.
Loki
bro.
not doing much here for the team.
Thanks to the stats. Let me see.
I don't know.
We're
Just
banned from the esports team, bro.
feel like
The marathon esports team.
could
I
have
had
had a
the
lot
most
more
combat elims. I had
No.
the most inventory value. Y'all broke. Damn, 8 didn't even break 1K.
on God, cause went crazy. I didn't just go crazy, bro. I went extra. I don't know what I'm saying. So what do we do now? Return to lobby? Did I put this in my storage?
Link breach.
Or my backpack? Core slot. Cores. Equipment. Deployable container with a small amount of ammunition. Like, where does that go to? See, this is my backpack. Lobby. Alright, we just going again? We ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. I got some ammo in my kit now. I'm not running another free kit. I'm too cool for that since I was carrying last game.
Okay, wait, how do I change my loadout before we drop in? I'm an idiot.
Oh my god.
Loadout, there we go.
I got a weapon skin.
A weapon skin? Nah, he's cheating. He didn't do anything and he got a weapon skin?
I got a
That's
skin
fucked
for. I got a skin for my knife.
Get
That's
ammo,
fucked up.
bro,
Don't tell my
kinda.
mom.
Bruh.
She's gonna get you in trouble, bro.
Do I just go back in with the kit I had? No, I should not. That's
You
probably
should
not.
probably
Yeah, you really
put on
should,
some ammo
bro.
at
Like,
least.
what are we doing here?
Just throwing a free kit real quick. Oh my god, Rook unlocked.
Double U. Backpack slots locked.
Oh, you can't even launch this skin.
I'm gonna look at change up my shot.
Can I see like what I
Actually,
had in
I'll
my
keep
inventory?
Yeah, just go to your vault and then it's in your backpack.
Oh,
Perk
vault.
boys, no perk boy.
Feel like I like this gun a little bit more. A little bit more firepower. And then... Ooh, this gun's good. Hold on. Walk with me. Then, Bazinga chat. Always bring a good amount of bullets. What the hell is this? Maximum firewall for short duration. I'm going to put that up. Restores health. That's good. I have no shield rechargers. Like small ones. Whatever, we'll take that. Alright. Oh. Okay, I think I'm ready. Y'all ready?
Yeah, we've been ready, bro. You took forever.
Oh, my bad, bro. My bad.
No, it's okay. I'm fucking with you.
We're no longer doing beginner. We're getting in there, bro. We're getting right in there.
We're getting in there. We're low-key, I'm down with player hunt, bro. I want top hands.
Completed contracts? Turn in completed contracts before attempting a run. Are you fucking kidding me? Bruh. Faction, contracts.
I think you also have a completed contract. Oh, never mind.
Huh?
You don't. My bad. I thought you had
Ew.
no contract.
Emergency. Yeah, I got some shit. Activate. Yeah. Okay, now let's go. Now we're prepared. We're ready to go to
Dude, I
perimeter.
just peeked over to your stream. What were you just looking at, bro? What was that?
Me? You just Kegi. What am I
Yeah,
looking at?
dude. I peeked over. I saw like the landscape thing or whatever. I didn't see that yet.
I have no idea. I don't even know what I'm looking at.
I guess I have to actually get this quest.
Let's go! Shall we fucking with this game? Or is there like hella
really
shit
like
on the
art
screen?
style, but that's kind of the only thing making me kind of want to play it. Like,
I need to see that like combat between other players.
that's true.
Can't get with how you feeling, bro? Give me your thoughts.
I don't know yet. I can't give thoughts until I see it all.
I like to play at least 10 hours of a game before I turn
10 hours.
10 hours is kind of crazy.
That's a lot of
I
time.
don't know, like I usually got like 3 hours between jobs, so I like to keep it.
Systemic memory audit.
Between jobs, what do you mean?
Past runs.
I got one
Previous
job,
failures may
that I do in the
inform your
morning,
strategy
and
for future
sometimes,
success.
another job I do later in the day.
Damn, you're a hard worker, dude.
Look at my knife.
Yes, sir.
All pink and blue.
Oh, you're so cool,
Oh
bro.
shoot! Wait, that kind of go hard though.
Whatever, dude.
Wait, he kind of got dripped.
Yeah,
Wait, he
whatever.
kinda got
Oh,
dripped.
I almost started placing that.
It's okay. It just seems like another shooter, just futuristic. I feel you. I feel you.
I really like the art style. I like the lead. Some of the other works the lead designer has done. But like, I don't know yet. Gameplay hasn't surprised me yet.
No surprises yet.
Smoke grenade.
Not a single surprise in sight.
I don't know, the little tick thing Loki scared the shit out of me earlier. I'm not gonna lie.
Wait. What's my V?
Get a card. We making bank.
Alright. Make sure it's sturdy. Yo, what's up, Riv? How you liking the game? I love the aesthetic and overall QOL features.
Quality of life.
Thank you, Kengi. I would not have figured that one out.
There's a supply drop out here. Do you want to check in that?
Listen, sometimes I'd be abbreviating deadlike items and you don't figure it out.
Yo, SOP, bro. Like, what? Who says SOP?
Deadlock items is crazy, bro. They're like 2 words.
Surge of power, bro. Like, who does that? Riv, I think it looks cool. I think the vibe is cool. I just feel like it's gonna feel like a lot of other shooters. And I don't necessarily really like extraction shooters. I think Arc Raiders was cool. I just took some shield damage.
I'm calling it a supply drop. I want to see what we get.
Okay.
I want smoke. I low-key want smoke. I want people to come to this.
Yeah, you hear that? Come to us. Come on us, please.
Alright.
I'm ready. Arms wide open.
Oh, shit.
What? What?
A little turret.
Dude, don't scare me like that, dude.
I stabbed the shit out of it.
Now that is a clip, bro. There's no clips to be had here. We are chilling.
Wait, I'm gonna take a bath.
You're gonna take a who now?
I'm taking a bath.
Look up, guys, look up.
A bath.
What the hell?
Oh, that bro. Bro, imagine this was real life, bro. You saw that coming from the sky?
Imagine this was the real one.
Okay, right. Like, no, that's not even funny. That's not even funny though. Like, that's not even funny.
There was a little.
Don't laugh at what comes out of this dude's mouth.
Oh my God, Apex Legends supply crate.
How do I open this?
Holy shit.
How do I open it?
Oh, wait, there's like good shit in here.
I mean, I've seen better, you know, whatever.
Alright, buddy. Pack it up.
Retaliator. Oh!
What? Stop. Go stop.
The thing damaged you when you get exploded.
Huh.
Yeah.
Why my shield hurt?
Use that shield thing, huh? What is this compromised? Volt. Destroyed upon extract?
Oh, that shit was actually fun.
Yeah, some items just turn into credits as soon as you get to extract food. Low-key.
Just want everybody to know I have the most
That's
shields.
alright,
I'm the shieldiest. I mean, it's alright. Whoa! What is this? Is that a good gun?
Yeah, nobody came to fight us. Loki, that's the main reason why I did that. Like,
Magazine
the
24.
AI is like kind of predictable, bro. They're just kind of scary when they start ganging up on you.
Nah, this gun's ass. The overrun's terrible. You said you're the shittiest. I am the shittiest. I agree. How do you know how shitty I am? What? Stop. Stop. Good shit, team. Y'all followed by my lead and we got it done. That was good.
Alright, buddy.
Teamwork. Where are we off to next?
I don't know, man.
Oh, what the
It's
fuck?
not like, I don't know what to do, bro.
Okay, let's look at the map. Maybe let's go to North Relay.
20 minutes remain.
Alright.
Yeah. North Relay. I pinged it.
Oh shit, I'm on the wrong direction. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
Oh, hell no.
Yeah, kind of have a good gun here. Engage.
I have to have this thing out for it to recharge.
Lol.
Yeah.
I don't know what I just picked up, but I picked up something. Ooh, light bullets. Or light rounds. Let's keep it pushing.
Let's advance, fellas.
Well, I think you do run faster without a gun in your hand. Press the attack. Onward. Wait, is this where we were last
You
time?
do run a lot faster.
Maybe.
Oh, I overheated.
Contract objective over here.
Time to hunt.
I'm invisible now. Time to go knife some people.
Oh, I hear shooting.
Who are you shooting at?
There's a bunch of robots on there.
Okay. Mmm.
Oh
If I
shit,
don't
there's a
want it.
lot of them.
Smoke screen.
Oh shit, I can't see him getting bombed.
I got one. Don't worry, team. Wait, does the smoke screen give me shield back? Hold on. I'm regenerating shield right now.
I'm hacking. Guys, I'm entering the mainframe.
Warning. Reinforcements
Oh,
detected.
fuck. I Loki probably just screwed us over.
Right. So now there's reinforcements on the way.
No, it's okay, though. Oh my god.
Oh my people.
Oh my lord, there's a lot.
Oh, I'm getting shot at.
Oh shit.
Is there a faster way to use these, bro?
I apologize for what I did.
Are you guys good? I had to recharge my shields.
Commander over there.
Oh shit, he's Loki.
No, I'm shooting the whole bombs. Woo. Wait, I'm going invisible. I'm about to go knife him in his head. Stealth engaged. Chat, watch this. This is how you play this character.
Oh, I didn't realize I shot him. That's not good.
Prepare for increased hostile action.
Boom!
There we go.
What the hell is this? Obedience matrix? Oh. Good work. Oh! Yo, these guys are aggressive.
Oh my lord.
Oh shit.
You suck at you? Holy! You didn't blow him up?
Basically. Yeah. I like to do that.
Another day. Another day, another hour.
Just can't fuck with me.
I'm very unfuckwittable. Okay, now, what in the hell is this? Bouncing energy grenade creates lingering electromagnetic. They're here to kill you. What do you mean? Deluxe eccentric salvage? Yo, I feel like I need that on my body. Yo, get this out of here. I don't need that. Yeah, that's gotta be cool. Deluxe grenade equipment.
I have detected an opportunity for considerable profit.
What do I mean?
Self-revive? What a good item. But the thing is, I'm like not gonna go down. If you want to get that, Benman, you got that, bro. All that in extract? Yeah, we probably should extract. How much time left we got?
15 minutes.
Oh, we're chilling. I need some more backpack space. How do I increase my backpack space?
Get a backpack.
Right? Where'd I get a backpack?
I don't know.
15 minutes remain.
Do y'all need ammo? I got like an ammo bag.
Wait, what the fuck is this game out? Wait, no, this game isn't out. It's in a playable test, though. You can play it now. It's not actually out. Torso implant? Oh, what the hell does that do? Self-repair speed? The hell's that?
I don't know what to fucking grab in this game.
Yo.
You okay?
What the hell is that sound in the background, bro?
Sorry, that's my girlfriend.
Yeah. Really good. What now?
Computer.
What that mean?
It's like yogurt. It's like yogurt.
Borrowed item? I don't want it. Is it public of invite? No, you can play it. You can go download it right now. Okay, where are we going?
Yeah, what are we doing? I got hella bread.
I'm having hella bread. No enemies, by the way. Bad.
I don't know what the fuck we're doing.
Enhanced valuable. Standard valuable.
Oh my god. Vent.
Bathroom. Wow, this is literally the most useless rotation I have ever seen.
I'm getting shot at.
You shot at.
Good thing is, I'm not gonna lie.
Hey, there's another captain.
I'm invisible.
Find you.
I'm gonna go ahead and use these.
Shields depleted.
There's a lot.
More shields.
Oh, don't save me.
I got him. That's my smoke screen. I'm using my character's ability so well. Am I getting hurt? I need to use my shields.
Let's get patched up.
Dude, I can't see anything.
Don't worry, you're good. You'll be fine.
Ammo pack out.
Go, ammo pack.
Yo. Oh!
Bam.
I think we should have Loki. I think we should extra with all the good shit we got.
Nah.
This is good shit, but
We don't got enough good shit. We need more. Okay. Get rich. Use the other gun, it's stronger? That's blue. Wait. You might be a genius, I'm not gonna lie. What's this? Nope. Claymore mine? Standard gadget equipment? Can I sell this?
Yeah, we're nowhere near next though.
Really?
Dude. Oh, yeah, yeah. Yeah, that one.
Exfil signal is strongest on my mark.
Okay, so we're gonna make our way to that one. Game plan.
We can.
Yeah.
Can't be stuck at the game.
Something's out there.
Is this necessary? No, it's not. Wait. Fall resistance versus. Boom, shakalaka. We're upgrading.
Alright.
Placing ammo crate.
I'll place an armor pack down if you guys need it.
Very good stuff here.
Metro active.
Might need that.
Looks like trouble.
Ooh.
He's not
Boy, I
heading
think
that
you
way.
can heal from that.
Yeah, I'm not
Another
going
leech
that
there?
way. Yeah, there's a bunch of leeches over there. I don't know if that's what you want to do with.
Oh, they're just leeches. I should. Oh, I only have. Wait, is this a gun that recharges over time? Y'all see that?
Filter's orders.
Yeah.
Be careful of that plant.
Yeah.
Threat marked.
Pretty cool. What the hell is this?
10 minutes remain until forced signal recall.
Force signal recall.
That was going on there.
We must unlock it.
My ultimate ability is ready.
What is V for y'all? What is that? What is that item?
V is my battery overcharge.
Is it like?
It's like a unique ability for you.
Oh, why do I not have that ability?
I think if you jump and you hold V in the air, it slams down and you pop a smoke grenade. Robots around.
Oh. That. Interesting.
Warning, reinforcements.
Are you shooting? Fighting? Excellent work, Tape. We're doing good. Another overrun. I feel like there's a lot of people around us.
Oh shit. What the fuck is that?
I feel like my game
Things
almost
here.
crashed.
Oh, it's another commander. Holy shit.
You're good, right? You guys are good. I'm coming. Don't worry, I got you. Behind you, behind you. Good. Oh, man. Good comms by me, man. I'm doing really good here. A box.
What's going on?
Oh,
Is it a person or a robot? I don't know. It's a person. We're bagging. Okay, we're bagging.
We're W back. Holy backpack! You're just picking things out. You don't even know what they do, bro. You gotta read. I don't even have
I don't
these
gotta
things.
read. I gotta sell. I gotta get my money up.
I gotta sell.
It's green. It must be good.
Okay. Well, I don't have any room.
Let's reload.
Reload, you say? I'll take that. Replace.
No heals.
Replace that. I think this is like a heal. Hey.
Let's get patched up.
Oh, what is all of this commotion going on right now?
I don't know. Let's leave.
All right, let's do it. Excellent raid, excellent raid. Was it? So only one actual person we've seen this whole time.
Warning, reinforcements detected.
Yeah, he just got gunned down.
Yeah, he did.
I just realized I've been muted for the past like 3 minutes. I'm gonna learn to mute my shit.
It's all good, homie. Who joined the call?
I
Who's that?
really lit up that guy though. He jumped Genji and I just turned around and lit him up.
Lablamo. Come on, come on, come on!
I'm muted. Oh my god.
5 minutes
He's muted, bro.
My friend's Deadlock or Marathon?
Marathon!
Sadly. Deadlock is not on console, so.
Yeah.
That was a funner round, I will say.
Yeah, that was more fun.
Stuff actually happened.
You just had to run into it. Run into the thick of it. Let's see who did the best. Come on, it was me.
It was obviously me, bro. 12 comments eliminated. Most inventory value out of all of you. I think I got the pick right.
You said what?
What's your profile supposed to be?
That's Graves from Deadlock.
Okay.
It's Graves.
Graves. Bro.
She's looking kind of bad, though.
You should get Deadlock.
Kenji stole my kill, bro. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah, that's what it was. It wasn't that I shot him in the face 3 times with a Magnum.
No, you stole my shit, bro.
Yo, how are y'all getting all these kills, bro? Like, what's going on? I got 2 times me.
Because you aren't playing the game right. You just gotta run around until you get knocked down 3 times.
I'm trying to read the items and whatnot, bro.
Is the game on console bigger or not?
I have no idea. You can look. You can just look up Marathon real quick. Or are you talking about Deadlock?
Like a service line right
No, Marathon.
Yeah, you just look that up in the store real quick. It should be. Looks like a game that could be played on console pretty easily.
now. I'll say it should. I would be pretty surprised if it wasn't.
Yeah. Alright. Come on, man.
I got so much stuff unlocked.
I'm very fuck-wittable.
You very fuckable?
Yes.
Whoa.
I mean, he just agreed to that guy, so let's game Lego.
Let's decrease.
Can I like increase inventory space?
Yeah, where the hell do I get that at?
I think you can unlock backpacks once you get Syak 5, rank 5. I'm only rank 2 though. I guess I'll improve my loot speed. I guess.
Oh, you need these items to be able to do this one. Oh, you just need credits for these. Oh.
Gives you so much free stuff, low key.
Okay, so I don't want to upgrade anything so I can get the upgrades I want.
I'm confused.
Yeah, no, I feel like I've been kind of just thrown out into something I don't fully understand. I was kind of pressing buttons and stuff's happening on my screen.
Ooh, nah, this is what I'm going for.
I think your your weapons I think like level up the more you use them though, because my weapons are blue now.
I think it's the type of mod that you put on though. Maybe.
Oh, it might be. That would make sense. That would make a lot more sense than my dumbass said.
But I don't know. One of them's blue, one of them's not. I don't know.
I'm trying a different shell this time. The scout shell Loki don't do much when there's no players to fight.
Limited consciousness. Transfer success.
Wait, there's a different sponsor. There's different. Yes, I am ready. Wait, that's kind of sick.
Big A, hold on, everybody in the call. Have y'all ever played Overwatch?
Yes.
I have.
Have you played Rivals too?
Yep.
Yeah.
So which one y'all prefer?
OG Overwatch.
I mean, if it was 2016 Overwatch,
yeah.
But like Rivals, I mean, currently is still kind of winning. I feel like the grind in Rivals felt less fun though than Overwatch ever has.
Need an energy amp? Bring that in real quick.
I got a sponsor kit. I'm gonna go with that so I can get it out of my inventory. Old school Overwatch before row queues and 5-team stacks. Yes.
Yeah, I agree with that.
That was significantly better than Marvel Rivals now.
I got to Celestial and Rivals, and it just didn't feel as good as when I got to Diamond and Overwatch.
And when Bastion was the GOAT, I remember I would always just come up behind Bastion because all they do is hold down left click, and then I would just counter, and he would just kill himself every time. It was so nice.
I do miss old Bastion.
I hate old Bastion. I played the game mode. He was fucking annoying.
Exactly. That's why it feels great to beat his ass, bro.
I guess I'm right. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess so too. I don't know. I got this.
Not gonna lie, Kinky. We have significantly less stuff in our kit if you wanna maybe.
Yeah, no. I
some
got
less.
a free, like super free kit.
No, it's okay.
Okay, all right. You know, just make sure you know.
I don't plan on dying.
Oh, you don't plan on dying,
That's
you said.
true. That's true. You ain't gonna die.
Well, with me around, for sure not, right? Because I'll make sure we get kills. That's what I do.
Yeah, something like that.
I'm the support. I would stop shooting and stare them down and shake my turret back and forth while the Genji just looks silly waving his little sword around. And that's whenever I hit you with one right click and then I dash through you because, yeah, what I would do is I would hop right on top of them, hit them one time, and then counter because they're just shooting everything. And then they would stop and then wham, dash, and they get my dash back. That's how I beat Bastion every time.
I've never heard you really talk about Overwatch, but I knew damn well you were a Genji main, bro. I didn't even need to think about it that hard.
That's funny. Yep, that was me. I play Genji. But I like Ashe now. Ashe is pretty cool.
Ashe is kind of fun. Yeah, I named it.
Overwatch right now, Big A, is the most balanced Overwatch I have ever seen. This is Overwatch fully for balance.
Good for Overwatch. I'd much rather play Deadlock.
Yeah,
yes, sir.
No, we don't.
I need to get my Moan Krill out recently.
Where are we going? Where are we going?
Oh yeah, let's look at this map here.
This is a new map.
Go to Greenhouse.
This is a new map.
Yeah, I've been picking new ones. The first one was the beginner, and then I picked the regular.
So you just don't want to do your quest, so you just do want to.
Oh, I just want to experience the whole game.
I understand.
Yo.
I just got so much ammo.
Nah, take this hate speech.
I have 320 rounds in that weapon right now.
I don't remember what she said, but I was told that she was from surgery.
Move out, move out, move out! Yo, I just lagged.
No, man, that's so sick. That's what you said, bro. That's
Yeah,
so
that's
cool.
Yo!
Yo, he's getting shot.
Yo, why did you do that, bruh? Yo, that's actually like... That throws you off a little bit. Dude, stabbed you in the back of my head.
Dude, there's like freaky odd robots that like stalk you. Cause he was just looking at you guys. He wasn't a player.
Actually?
Yeah, no, he was literally like walking around looking
gun
at
in
you guys. He
here.
wasn't doing anything.
Gun you say? Oh, that's dog shit gun.
Shield's broke.
That's one of them dog shitters. Good work. Tirax seed? I guess I'll take that.
That's what the deal is.
What they do is...
Data card. Oh shit. Data card.
Woo! Enemy combatant!
I got him.
What you got?
Feeling better.
Yes.
There's a recon going on over here. Is that one of you guys?
Yeah, I threw that down.
Oh, I was gonna say, I was like, oh shoot, you know, I actually got plays.
Cause I'm a G.
Something like that.
G, you noob. How's the game? I downloaded the playtest but haven't played it yet. I think it might be a chill game to play with friends. I don't think it's worth paying $40 when it comes out though. I'm definitely not buying this game.
I mean, it's something.
It's something though. Like if you just have a whole lot of extra free money, hit that sub button, right? But I don't think it's worth $40.
Oh, there's people.
Wait.
Actual players?
I think.
Don't ignore this.
Are we going? I think we go. I'm invisible. Why are you censored?
I wanna fight him. I wanna fight him.
Run out here.
Why are you censored right now? Why are both of y'all censored?
Oh, those definitely are players. There's no way in hell those aren't players. I'm going in.
Let's get patched
I
up.
don't even know yet. Make sure you don't overheat. Getting into this.
Okay. Did you get one? Oh my gosh!
Watch out.
Down another.
Okay. Can I play it again? Wait, this teabag.
Finishing him.
I got him. I'll finish this one. On me. Give me your equipment.
Let's find their teammate. Let's find their teammate.
Ooh. That gun looks better than mine.
Goalie SMG, Retaliator LMG.
Firepower.
Oh,
Firepower is better.
SMG.
Don't need that. Take this. That shit like
I'm done with it. I'm done with the game right now.
W download.
It's on console.
W console.
Huh.
Why did I pick this up?
I don't know. I'm having way too much shield. Get this out of here. I don't want that.
Signal recall window closes in 20 minutes.
Conquest. Very good, team. Let's keep it moving.
Players, bro.
That's so fair, especially considering Deadlock is free. Yeah, facts, bro. They censored because they doing naughty things to each other, bro. They were just crouched, and I could still see it. It was like weirdly blurred.
We were signal jammed.
Yeah, what does that mean?
I don't know. It's an equipable I have to use. I don't know.
Standard salvage, transaction upgrade, armory items.
It means your visual profile is temporarily scrabbled, obscuring your appearance.
UESC reinforcements incoming.
Reinforcements incoming. Okay. A data card.
I don't know what the hell
I don't know what that gave me.
I don't want to open this door. That's a lot of ticks in there.
We can do it. I got an LMG.
I mean, I do too, but like, I'm doing it.
Okay, I'm not on your level, by the way. We're above you.
It's okay. I'm just killing the things.
As long as you know.
Hey guys, I see players over here.
Check it out.
I'm coming. Ooh, I'm coming hard. Show me. Show me. Yo, I hate LMGs, bro.
No chance.
Yo, what was that? What'd you just shoot out?
That's like one of my abilities.
Oh man, that drone went really far.
Yeah, I know about me.
I thought I already reloaded. Woo! More people downstairs. Yo.
Yeah, I'm down. Down.
No, you can't be down. Yeah, get this gun out of my inventory, bro. This is not my playstyle.
Camo active.
The resiest.
Doing the warts work. Ooh.
Who has a drone on them right now? You do. You use this. You should get your energy amped, eh?
Yeah. For 24 seconds? I mean, I move faster or something?
Your tactical and prime abilities recharge much faster.
What is this? Search a Kaufer Foundation.
Alright. We're back where we killed these guys.
I'm trying to figure out what we could be doing.
What's that? Yes, because niggas playing this shit in the ear.
Complex.
I wasn't talking.
Matter.
Playing in my ear.
2 minutes.
The anomalies matter. We can go see the anomalies matter.
Yeah, let's go to that.
You gotta listen to it.
That's something new that we haven't done before.
Looking up that.
Curious.
Where's I'll see it on the map. Yeah.
Okay, we're
Right,
going
right
straight.
next to it.
Let's
Yeah,
go.
no, for some reason I can't ping it.
We're moving, boys. Oh, enemies. Enemy combatants.
Oh my god, you shoot at them? They didn't even see you yet. You're getting run up behind. Dead. One tapped. Gone. Delete.
Ouch!
Good night. See you next time.
Yo, is there like a shotgun in this game? I'm freaking. Oh, I do not like this gun. Not gonna lie, I'm throwing this gun away. First sign I get.
I mean, there is a shotguns, but.
Where?
Oh, players.
Guys, we got actual players.
Players.
I knocked one.
Wait.
I did a player third.
Oh, I'm overheated.
Where is he at?
Oh, they're on that bridge.
Yeah, I'm reviving Bemin right now.
Okay. think I'm dead.
No, no, no.
I am dead. I didn't realize Ember was dead.
They're peeking over. They're peeking over.
Yo! Can y'all like crawl back to me or something?
Reinforcements detected.
About that.
Yeah.
I'm dead.
Yo! Yo!
No.
Had the worst gun in existence. Yeah, so King, you remember what I said about your loadout?
Oh well.
You lost a Magnum.
Shit happens. That's the point of an extraction shooter. I got a crazy drop on one of them, and then the other two just fucking turned over to me and lit my ass off.
Wow.
Okay. Well,
Well, I can play Marathon now. I'm gonna try it out.
W. Dang, man. Feel like a chud after that loss. Feel like a worthless chud.
Why it says at 7, but it says at 7.7, but it says ready to start. Now it's at 100. What?
Because you're on console, bro. Switch over to PC.
No. You don't have that type of funds, sir.
You said what?
You don't have that type of funds. I don't have money, sir.
Oh, money. Okay. But if you did have the money, then you would switch over to PC.
By far, by now. Because nobody say you can play PC and play console, so play on console controller, so.
Yeah.
This may have PlayStation Studios?
Go ahead and put this back on.
This is just a demo, right?
Yeah.
Alright, hold on. Wait.
I don't know if I mess with the game. I don't know.
It controls. Am I also playing on console? Because it controls for the
What are you equipping, big ass?
I'm trying to make a good build, bro. Get off of me, dude.
I mean, like, I'll join you. I'll join you. Let's go for a good round. Let's go for a good round.
Yeah, we're going for good runs here. We gotta. Yeah.
I might.
I'm even putting on a backpack, bro.
What is he in a bat? 24, 72.
Put some heels on. Shit. Shit, give me some heels on. Shit.
Ooh, he's so home about to shoot. Ooh,
I need a
and I'm like, dude, won't see. Ooh, who the fuck is you? Ooh.
Let me see what that stuff is that you're putting on there. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Alright. I think I'm prepping fresh. I even got my backpack on. I got my backpack on. I'm ready to go to school.
W backpack.
Oh, I have a shield too. I'll put that on.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we about
This
to
game was
get mad stuff rocking and rolling, man. We ready up in here.
Do it. Actually, I should probably wait one second. I should probably buy ammo for one of my weapons.
What is this game similar to?
Escape from Tarkov.
Arc Raiders and that too, probably.
Oh, it's like Destiny 2.
Didn't Bungie make Destiny?
Bungie did. And
Yeah,
Bungie
that's why
was
I'm-
working. Bungie killed Destiny 2 for Marathon.
Is that a good idea?
Like, I don't think that was a good idea.
No.
It fucking sucked.
I played Destiny 2 when it first came out. I mean, it was good, but like, I don't think they should have killed it off, bro.
We are now shutting down our servers to pursue a better game. Damn, I fell
I
asleep.
like
Good job.
again, the art direction is so good, but like the gameplay, I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
So are you guys saying that there will never be a Destiny 3?
No, why would they?
There's like a very much less likely chance. I mean, it's not never say never, but
That's in like 20 years, maybe. 10
I
years.
mean, when they released the last DLC for Destiny 2, it got so much bad remarks. I don't think they were gonna be looking
Take a
too much
look.
forward to making a Destiny 3 in the first place.
Bio research, baby. Lock in. We got looting to do. We're the lootiest.
What's this?
The lootiest.
There's Fox Beer. Let's talk to it. Yo, there's a room full of toxins.
I got toxic, bro. Bro, get off of me. It hurts. I'm in pain.
Bro, if it's a you, bro, how did I de-equip my knife? How do I use my knife here? It says tap RB for it.
Tap it. Should auto use
Did
it.
it?
Hold it.
No, it's one tap. I did double tap. That's probably it.
Oh, there it is.
Oh. Man, shot at by the box.
Holy. This gun is good.
I'm getting toxin spores and shit all over me.
A moment.
What's the melee button?
Red drone
RB.
active.
Did you say RB? Bro.
Yeah, just to mess you up, you know.
Your fast melee is C.
Nice.
Need a second.
Who's shooting at out here?
That's me.
Okay. Yo, stop it. Quit shooting me. Shiz.
Ammo crate here.
Ooh. Bro, the backpack is kind of nice, bro. I'm getting mad straight.
It is kind of nice. You can hold an extra weapon if you need to. That's already enough for me to be happy.
I don't know what any of this stuff is.
Thank God it's you. Thank God it's you. Back rooms.
Back rooms?
Arms locker.
You're right below it. You probably like it when he shoots you, zesty ass motherfucker. Yo, what? Not like people shooting me.
What's going on?
Oh.
Hey, triggers.
Burn.
Ooh, heat grenade.
Burn.
Done.
How are you feeling today?
No. Thank you very much. I'll be taking all of that. Would you say we've searched this place enough and it's time to move to the next one?
Let's get patched
That's
up.
what I would say.
Alright, we're
Find some
moving.
robots.
I need healing, bro.
Need healing?
Yeah.
Here.
10 seconds, so I have a heal bot.
Oh yeah, no, don't waste it, don't waste it, keep it.
Oh, okay.
Heal bot coming, I'll just use that.
Doctor's orders.
Yay. I don't know what's up with you. They're pretty close.
What the hell? Yeah, get over there. Come on.
You're blocked.
Am I an idiot? Bruh.
A little.
I found it. Figured it out. It was a pretty hard puzzle there, chat.
What the hell was that?
Oh, what's that sound? What are we doing?
For 20 minutes.
That was like a bomb blow up near me or
Oh, a bunch of people, a bunch of robots are spawning in where we just were. We're going to go back and kill them. I don't know if they're going to give us anything good.
Shields critical.
Yeah, so I don't usually drop that much.
Secure resources.
Shields broke.
Oh my lord.
There's a bunch of explosions around. Careful.
A claymore.
Oh shit, I just wasted 2 clips. That sucks.
These are not clips. They're
Prepare for
magazines.
increased hostile action.
No. Those were bullshit. Oh god. Oh lord. This is
Yeah, you're in quite the conundrum.
having a pickle.
What the hell is that? What the hell is that?
Why are they invisible?
That's a good question. I have amazing aim, chat.
I'm dead.
Yo, I swear I'm shooting them.
Oh, he's running at me. He's executing me.
Oh, I'm pretty low. Ooh. Hold on, I must heal.
I'm in the smoke. I'm in the smoke.
USC reinforcements incoming.
The smoke is no longer there. Just freaking die! Yo, are we like a maze full of just enemies, bro?
About it. I don't seem to go away.
I'm healing.
Oh,
Oh!
man, bro. This shit, dude. Gross.
Okay, that's my first time going down. I'm not gonna lie, we just got cooked by AI. Oh! You just blew him up.
Why is it the proceed to X-File site? How did that?
You said crawl to you? You cooked? Well, Kengi's probably gonna die.
Oh, I'm so dead.
Yeah, he's dead. I'm good though. I'm good. Ooh, W slide. Get him.
I can't. I just blew by behind this wall.
Well, don't worry. In your honor, Kengi, I will take all your loot.
It's fair, it's fair.
It's only right, you know?
It's only right.
You had that.
I think there's players fighting the robots right now.
You had a lot of good stuff, man. At least I think you did. I don't know if that's actually true.
See ya.
I killed the
See ya.
captain.
W. Time to heal. I'm never letting that go. 0% cluster accuracy in Spider-Man, by the way, bro. He has the easiest projectiles. No, he doesn't, bro. Okay, let's go ahead and extract so we can get Kengi back. Oh wait, how do I? Wait, hold on. Wait a minute. Wait, Kengi, hold on.
USC reinforcements incoming.
Wait, hold on. Give me a second.
Oh my god.
I may have taken some of your items. No, here. I got you, bro. Don't worry. Yeah, that was yours. That was probably yours. That was, yeah. This all this is yours, I think. Whoa, I hear running. Is it a good idea to like continue to fight these guys? They don't even really give you anything, right?
15 minutes remain.
Like, what are they even protecting out here, bruh?
The storage thing.
Better get to that storage thing.
Right here. No, it's okay. I got myself.
You got yourself?
Camel filter engaged.
Somebody saved me. I don't want to do that.
I got you. I'm the revivist. What stuff? What? Did you just get something good or something? What the hell is this? Ammo pack? 8 plus 8 slots?
I don't have any ammo for it. I need MIP rounds. MIPS rounds. That's what I need.
I'm gonna lie. Somebody else can pick that up.
Anyone want this?
I don't know if that's that good or not, but I don't want it.
I have a sniper rifle.
Oh, yo, let me know if you find like a shotgun anywhere. That's pretty cool. Shotguns are pretty cool. I want this. We did good today. We did good.
We did it. We came back. You guys thought this was over. We got that drone up for chance. You got that drone, that killing drone. I'd be real appreciative of that killing drone.
Alright, yeah.
I'm about to use you for streaming, dude. I'm gonna keep watching Big Ass for real, you know.
Okay. Appreciate it.
This gun I got is crazy, by the way.
That's what they all say.
The V66.
Oh, boys.
I got the V22.
Low key, I do not. Low key, if we had some kind of pinnacle, I will go to it. Like a better.
Did we get everything from here that was like needed?
I think so.
Alright.
Prepare for increased.
Ouch! Yeah. Oh, that was an I put a shield on and now it's gone. Egg still activated. Huh?
I used my goddamn ult.
W ult. I don't know what that does, but yeah.
It's supposed to be for insta-res.
Yo! That's all good. We're not going down. We're making it out. I'll make it easier. We're making... Okay, that like isn't on the extraction.
Good one, bro. Good one.
Yo.
Oh, it's invisible, guys.
Good thing we're extracting, right?
Yeah, is it ready? Yeah.
Ouch! Mad fall damage. Valorant found dead. Wait, I don't think this will beat Valorant.
I don't think anything can kill Valorant or Riot. It's a Riot property.
Hell no. Come on, MVP.
I knew what I was doing a little bit in Arc Raiders. I don't know what the fuck's going on.
I feel so brain dead.
Yeah,
like, I don't know
what I'm doing at all. Just too much information on the screen. Just like simplify everything. What is the objective? It's like an extraction shooter. You want to get loot so you can upgrade like either your character or your base to build things to go extract again. It's like that. But this game has characters with abilities, which is supposed to make it unique.
You know, I'm not gonna lie. I could get to stick to a beginner for a little bit.
Okay, let's do that. Yeah, but I don't even know if we can play beginner anymore.
Oh no.
Because whenever I went and looked at
what did you do?
God.
I swear it wasn't me.
Oh yeah. That's what it is.
We just played the game.
Yeah,
We're too advanced for the beginner mode.
It's never the party leader's fault, bro.
We're too advanced for the beginner mode. I'm pretty sure.
Man, I have no heals in my inventory.
Bro's the hilliest.
Reload up.
We go free.
I think I'm gonna run a freeload. Just because of that.
Let's
I don't
do
wanna
it.
Hop in with good shit with no ammo or no heals.
I fuck with that. I'm the freest.
Commander, it has to be a commander, motherfucker.
Yeah, we can only do the first map and then the second map. There's no beginner anymore.
We should do perimeter, Loki.
Alright. Somebody's knocking.
That's what, yeah.
So Arc Raiders and Valorant had a baby? Yeah, actually. Yeah. This is actually probably closer to that. Actually, more like Tarkov. Actually, Tarkov is more like you make every action. You can do every action.
Oh my god, my vault's already full.
Picking up too much stuff, bro.
Dude, most of it auto sells.
But yeah, something like that piece. Like Tarkov is first person, or Arc Raiders because it's simple, and then Valorant because you have characters with very simple abilities. Like I got a smoke bomb. You know what's crazy? I have a smoke bomb as my ultimate ability, and then there's a smoke bomb gadget that you can pick up. So like,
yeah, no, it's kind of crazy.
I don't know. Like, is it even that good? Or maybe there's something else.
I guess it allows you to have something else in your equipment. So,
yeah, I guess.
It doesn't exactly take long to swap out your equipment, though.
These loading screens don't make any sense.
They're kind of cool, though. I do mess with the loading screens. I ain't gonna lie.
It's like I feel like they're trying to tell me something. Guy opens his eyes. There's a moth on his face.
There's also a feather. Did you get the feather?
No, I didn't get the feather.
I got the feather.
Priority defeat U.S. Scan fill array. Perimeter. Parameter. Alright, let's go.
Advisory. Disregard emotional hesitation while scavenging. The dead have no use for relics.
Like vertigo, looking out like that.
Vertigo? What is that?
Like, where like you kind of can like really feel depth. Like almost feel
What be hopping? Go crazy.
Oh shit.
This is the same company who made Destiny? Yes, sir. Bungie. But a lot of people are upset. You know, a lot of people were upset. Like all the TF2 people were upset that they stopped to make Deadlock. But Deadlock is actually a good game. I don't know about this one being better than Destiny.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This is not.
Like extraction shooters, like fit such a specific, unique type of player.
Also, Record Compete with Tarkov, but it's been around since. I mean,
yeah, now Arc Raiders, which is like blown up. Can y'all drop something, please? Ah!
Oh, they're jumping in. They're jumping in.
Get punched in your face! Well, I'm actually pretty low now.
Kick in your chest.
You were talking all that good shit. You got kicked in your chest.
Oh, I got another tank one over here. mean, I appreciate the heals, but that's all I'm getting right now.
Agility!
I got rid of the spinner! Oh, I got hang up back.
What?
Overrun AR, wow.
As I'm pressing the buttons.
I like the Magnum more than I like this thing.
You got two of the exact same gun on me. I got it on me. Come on now. I really do this. Empty drink container.
What the hell?
Oh, this is a different type of... Yeah, I see. Oh, self-revive.
Self-revive. I don't know. Deadlock's so good. I'd be tight as fuck when I can't move that way. Another game. Yeah. I got just the running and then the slide. That doesn't even go that far. I don't know, man. I think I've been spoiled.
Deadlock movement's too good. Yeah,
I think I've been spoiled.
Spoiling.
You can move any way you want in that game.
Hey, if you guys need depleted shield charges or depleted patch kits, I have a lot of both.
Okay, I'm chilling right now. I would know who to come to. Deadlock movement too buttery smooth. Facts, bruh. This game is like unique looking. It kind of gives me Death Stranding vibes as well, like looks wise a little bit. But especially on Mina and Celeste, yeah, bro. I need to quit talking about it or I'm gonna start playing that game. I might get off this game too soon. I've given it a full try of 10 hours according to Bibbin.
Okay, you don't need to do that, bro.
10 whole fucking hours.
I work a little weird. I work a little weird, bro, okay? You don't need it. We don't need to be pitching strays at me.
No, I'm just saying, you know, I feel like I understand you now. I get you.
It is 5 times the Steam refund timer.
It's 5 times the Steam refund timer.
Oh, can't refund it now. I just won't play it though. sorry, Marathon. Ooh, yeah. We love Marathon on God. Wait, ID, you can play this. You like play only on console. You could try this game out, bro. I love Marathon, all of us. Hey.
Recall window will remain stable for 20 minutes.
Stable for 20 minutes. Oh, we got into this map pretty early. Oh, we got a doodad up there.
Threat spotted.
My teammates at. I'm gonna just go invisible, so I ain't gotta deal with them.
Over there.
Oh shit!
What the fuck? Yo, quit sucking me, dude. Better run away, buddy. Yeah.
I don't like how all the robots are trying to suck you, bro. Like,
Oh, it's hacker detected. What? Why do I look like this?
What do you look like?
Oh, it's ability regen pause. How do I fix this?
No abilities for you.
Let's get patched up.
There's no some robots just now.
How do you even get down there?
Use a mechanic kit to remove. Use an OS debug to remove.
Yo, I'm getting followed.
He has a gold shield. Oh my god. Who did I pick a fight with?
Holy beat, yo. There might be, nah, they're just robots.
Oh my god, oh my god. The turret.
Yo, why can't I see nothing? My screen's all weird. There's somebody shooting behind me. Oh! Heard you. Bro, WM.
I'm gonna die.
No, you're not. I swear you're not. Watch this.
Synthetic plume.
Come on. Don't say I never did enough for you. What is this? A hard line?
That guy still has shield.
What the fuck is this? Heavy round? Oh, I think I got a sniper. Allow me to heal myself up. Holy chat, you guys are seeing some amazing game here.
Oh my god! He shot me down.
Don't worry, I'm the invisiblest. Can you just crawl to me? I'm invisible.
He's doing weird things to my body.
Dude, how is he still alive?
Okay.
I really directed with a fully charged E.
I kind of like have. I need to heal. There's a lot of people are coming in this direction. Okay. Okay.
Oh my god.
No, this is great. Yo.
Dude, what is up with that guy?
Don't suck me! Stop sucking me! Ew! You're getting sucked, bro.
Oh, random people are here.
Oh, wow. Can you stop sucking, bro? You don't need to keep sucking me. Get folded.
Oh, hell no.
I also love how the quality is good.
Infiltrator agent.
Game looks great. Time to go play punch rip. Unless I can punch people as a rat in this game, it ain't it. You can punch people in this game, but you can't parry. Those tentacles make me uncomfy. I don't know. Yeah, it's a little weird. Wait, am I like over your head? Am I like next to your head watching you? Oh. What an interesting way to spectate.
Trying to go out through my mother's players nearby.
Ooh, W slide. I'm getting some sus ovulation ads on your channel. Peak, that has nothing to do with me.
15 minutes.
I don't even know what that means.
Targeted ads, by the way.
I don't know where the clitoris is. Not me, man. Not me. Oh, are you him? Oh. Wait, I can click give up.
I don't know.
Only on your channel, I don't know, man.
Stealth mission to get you guys back up.
You got him? Yeah, well, allow me to do some healing. Did those other people come over? Kiki! Yo, Kiki, you're alive! You're alive!
Back.
I don't have any bullets! What the f- Yo, I'm getting sucked again!
I have got no ammo.
I got
I
nothing.
used it all on that guy that didn't die.
I'm not gonna lie, bro. I think we just need to leave. I think it's time to leave, bro. I'm not gonna lie to you. I got no heals. I got approximately 7 bullets left. Not feeling too hot. Not feeling very cash money.
Oh my god, he ran down here.
UESC
He ran
reinforcements
down
have
here.
responded
Run.
to the
Just
signal.
run. Trust me, just run.
Yeah. Let's run to the side of the map that doesn't really have anything, right?
Profit opportunity
Come on, heals.
identified.
I'm the healiest. Please heal me. Can I heal off of you?
Oh fuck, there's players. I found them. I found the players. They're right here.
Oh.
cracked one.
W crack. I can go invisible. Oh, I got something. I got a shield.
Hey.
Yep.
Hey, help.
Right? Okay. Okay. I gotta go invisible and then pick you guys up. Let me get some healing, and then. Right? Okay. I'm not seeing any healing. Are they close to y'all? Were they close to y'all? Did they kill y'all?
They're close to my body.
Okay. Get loose. Get loose. Get loose. Get loose. Get loosey goosey. Not that long. It's actually already listed halfway right now. Why did y'all go that way, bro? Yo! Okay, I'm almost overheated. They couldn't do shit, bro.
Oh my.
Ew.
What a game.
This is mad freaking robots.
I saw two of them with backpacks. They actually had like a
Oh yeah, we ran like no loadout, right?
Yeah, we did.
It's all Kingy's fault, bro. Didn't get enough revives.
Oh shoot. I just unlocked Orion. That was kind of sick.
W. I guess it looks cheap for a Destiny company. I just expected it to be a bit more lively or polished. That's fair.
I mean, it's like, yeah, I can agree with that. Low key, the gameplay feels clunky.
I think they're going for the simplified, futuristic look. Like they wanted it to look like very robotic, square prism, like just boxy, simplified, futuristic
Guys,
type.
there's ranks.
That doesn't make sense, bro. Ranked extraction.
Yeah. I'm ranked 1 right now.
Hey, I just got something. Link! Whoa! Whoa!
Attention, runner. Town City 4 is off limits. The planet, its colony, and all connected resources are property of the Unified Earth Space Council.
Yeah, it's supposed to
your
look.
wallet has a max? That's kind of stupid.
Yeah, but that dumb to go for that when Arc Raiders kind of swept with the extraction genre. So you think they want to one-up them? They didn't even try them out. No, they're going for a different look. They don't want to look like Arc Raiders. And also, they were probably creating this before, like, they knew Arc Raiders was coming out, right? So they can't just completely pivot and then push it. Well, I guess they could pivot and push back.
I mean, they could have pivoted. I mean, I will say, I think Marathon's trailer came out before Arc Raiders did. Arc Raiders trailer came out. Because I know Marathon's been like announced for a while.
Unfortunately, the UESC is interfering with my attempts to establish contact. Please address the source of this disruption.
This Orion guy is kind of cool, I'm not gonna lie.
Orion. It's ass, eh? Listen, bruh. You gotta give a game 10 hours before you say such ass, bro. You can't just say that. You can't just say that, bro.
I will say, you know, there's one game that never made me need to do 10 hours on it. That game was Deadlock.
Hey, come on. You know what's up.
That game was kind of gas.
That game was kind of gas. Kind of gas.
I want to play the Thief. They got cool. I want to try to play the Thief. But...
Go ahead. Prepare the perimeter.
run double healer.
Sorry.
Maybe this is the meta.
Perhaps. But hey, chat. Here's the good side. Tomorrow we play Resident Evil Requiem, which is going to be significantly better than this game. Right? So, if y'all aren't liking this game, tomorrow we're definitely getting something at least decent. See, if you're doing these games, can we have a league day or just a few games one of these days? What day of the week would be the best to do like a no deadlock day? Sunday a good day? Sunday fun day. Sunday.
Reminder.
I guess we can do Sundays.
Please refer to your operating
I guess I'll play like whatever
repeated memory
is cool
loss.
on.
Folio.
Are you fucking yo? Who just puts bombs around in random ass quarters of outdoor areas?
The militia.
Play Ivern Jungle, right? So that's something I'm not gonna do, Peace. I'm not gonna play another game and play something I don't want to play. Ivern is probably.
Bro, what's the hate for Ivern?
Bro,
Ivern's
what? Bro, y'all know my. You said you could tell I play Genji. Why would I ever in a million years play Ivern?
No, Ivern's goated, bro.
It's not my play style. Wait, Kengi, would you be down if we did like a league day? Would you try
Fuck
out
that? No. Install Riot anti-cheat malware onto my computer. I'm
It's
good.
not. No.
He kind of is.
Chinese
Unfortunately, I
spyware,
can't
bro.
deny that. It's,
Oh
it's
my
spyware.
gosh, bro.
Why does it got access to
I'm
all my
good.
files? I don't need that, but I can't turn it away.
Oh, but League is the future, bro. But behind
No,
deadlock.
it isn't. Big A. You're like, you have brain worms, bro.
Brain worms.
Like, bro.
Okay, you gotta try at least one time. What was that?
I swear,
There's an enemy right here.
I don't want to try this league again.
You didn't try it right. You just didn't. You didn't try it right.
You didn't try it right. You didn't play 1,000 games.
You gotta play 10 hours of the game.
Nah, it's a MOBA, bro. You gotta play 30 hours.
Minimum. Yes, we doing a league day, Kingy. Join League 2 coming into League 2. Holy.
Oh, I'm getting kicked.
Yo. Why are we moaning, bro?
Yeah, kicked in the nuts.
Ow! Somebody shot me in my back meat. Yo. I'm not gonna lie, I'm probably about to go down. Whenever I'm the GOAT. I'm the GOAT. I'm literally the GOAT.
I downed one.
I got 2 down.
I got killed. I killed a guy.
W. Like, are you talking about real people?
Yeah, real
Yeah.
people.
Oh, I was fighting bots. I was over here celebrating killing bots, bro. You guys dealing with real people?
Ammo crate placed.
Hey, this guy was low-key loaded up a little bit, I ain't gonna lie. I'm taking his gun because it's purple.
Purple. Don't mind if I take some more shillings.
Did we ever get the third player?
Wait, Kingy, do you have a Switch too?
Doctor's orders.
No.
If whenever the new Souls game comes out for the Switch, are you gonna buy a Switch just to play it, or no?
Probably not.
Oh.
I'll just bum it off one of my friends that will buy it.
Mm.
Billy, let me come over.
Valid.
I mean, I'd be down to watch you if you streamed it, if you could take it up from your
I
friend.
did. I don't have a capture card to
stream
into my my like Switch.
What the hell is going on?
Nah, I don't have enough money to buy a Switch, so. But I could, if I had a Switch, I could do that. I don't know anybody that has a Switch too, and is getting that game.
Switch is a low-key overpriced.
Hell yeah! And the games, or at least one of the games, is like $90. Hell no. We're boycotting.
Yeah, like, I mean, the only reason why I got the first Switch was for Smash Bros. So
yeah, me
if
too.
They release a new Smash Bros. Maybe, but like,
I don't think they are. I think
that's
they
the only
said they were
time.
done.
I'm here over to, like, I'm trying to wall bounce to get the greater heights and stuff like that. What's going on?
Bro's over here doing this.
I unironically tried to wall slide earlier. It's bad, bro. It's actually bad.
That's funny, bro.
Oh my god, get me on deadlock right now.
Dead ass, give me some phone.
What is that whack ass slide, bro? Didn't go nowhere.
Straight up.
You mean I have to reload while sliding? What is this game?
I can't just keep shooting.
It's atrocious, bro. Where, like, I feel like I'm
20 minutes remain.
Yeah, maybe let's go to a different part of the map. We got 20 minutes. Ooh, what is that? A Wraith Warden? At the, what is this place?
Yeah, fuck it, we're going to the Wraith Warden. That sounds sick.
Yeah, it looks...
Oh my god, that looks like a giant fight that we're gonna have.
Come on, lock in. Oh. Yo, why do you keep doing that, bro? Yo, Chad, are y'all hearing this, man? He's like, oh. Like, what are you getting
shot?
My shields.
Oh, you are getting shot. I'm getting shot. Oh.
I got this guy.
Oh. Oh. Yo, no. I'm going invisible. F that. Okay, I went down. Oh, that was a real guy right there.
Yeah.
Don't execute me, bro. Don't do it.
1 second.
I'm coming to you guys. I'm coming down. He did that right in my...
Oh, shit. Immediately, holy shit.
Yeah,
I took the ult.
That dude in white just mad damage. Stop cheating on deadlock. Jay, you gotta explore a little bit sometimes. I am missing home though. A little bit.
Ugh. Been on game for like 4 and a half.
Okay. I'm messing with this game, bro.
Are we calling it quits, bro?
I might have to call it quits here.
I
might revisit it. I might revisit it, but
we got to the second.
10 hours.
Bro needs to get to 10 hours, bro.
I need to get to 10
I can't tell. I can't tell if I like it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna get off. I need to make my girlfriend dinner.
Husband.
I'm definitely gonna be running some deadlock once I get done though. Okay, I need a deadlock breather.
Yeah.
Alright, it was nice playing with y'all.
Yes sir. Yes sir.
See y'all.
See ya. Freaking hate that guy. Are we hopping on deadlock?